Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and all variations thereof. And welcome to the 22nd, I think, Shadows of Sorcery stream. I'm not actually sure if that is correct. I didn't check before. I think we might be on the 23rd stream, actually. Hold on. Let me double check that we are on the right stream number.
Are we not playing Assassin's Creed? I thought it was Assassin's Creed today.
No. Not Assassin's Creed. Hold on.
Yeah, we're using the patented multiplayer in Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Jesus Christ.
It actually
That
existed.
could only be good. Wait, what do you mean? No, put that back.
Yeah, no, Assassin's Creed Revelations has multiplayer.
Why?
I don't know.
It's like Among Us, but everyone's the imposter, if I remember correctly.
Oh, Christ. Right. Come on, open up.
I need to hiss so badly. Wasn't that bad?
Okay, no, we are on session 23, apparently. My brain just went... Be an idiot for a change. Okay.
Assassin's Creed multiplayer is very stab happy. Yeah, I guess it is basically just TF2, but everyone is spy.
Jeez.
That's interesting. Yes, welcome everyone to the 23rd session of Shadows of Sorcery. Dreams of the Past. Tonight is a bit of a different session. We are missing Horace, who, at the moment, we cannot continue the story without, because of the events that I have planned soon. So,
See, this is what you get for planning ahead, Lucian. This is what you get for planning ahead. You should just do what I do and wing it 100%.
Well, you say that, but I don't think that would be a good idea, I've got to be honest. But yes, today we are doing a bit of a different session. We will be delving into some characters' backstories to see what brought them to the moment that they are in now. So, last we left off, our party of heroes had bedded down for the night in a small cottage belonging to Meristu Flas, who had lent you the floor for the evening, for the night. And
Time to espouse my manifesto.
as you all drift off to sleep, you find your dreams filled with strange and unusual visions and memories. You feel oddly aware. As your sleep comes to you, you feel strangely awake. And we will start with Darren.
Oh, thank fuck.
So,
So I'm falling asleep, but I'm strangely awake.
you fall asleep, and your mind seems to depart your body for a little while. You feel strangely floating. You look down at yourself in the cabin in the swamp that you have lain in. And then suddenly your vision crystallizes into this empty space. A ring of stars around you. You see above you the twin suns of Erathan. And below you, you see the 3 moons that orbit the planet. You see high in the sky, between those 2 suns, a single dark speck. And as you look up, your vision is suddenly once again overcome and everything fades. Everything turns to blackness. You are in an empty void. And then you hear footsteps. And I am going to quickly close my window because it's getting very loud.
The seagulls just want to RP.
The irony is that I can actually hear wind in here anyways, so...
It's thematic.
So, darkness clouds your vision. And then you hear footsteps. Footsteps on cold stone. Familiar footsteps, heavy. The sound of clanking armor, of a hammer hitting the side of a leg as it swings from a belt. You hear, or rather you see, because suddenly the world around you lights.
Loads in.
You see a stone hallway, large columns spiraling up into this archway. You see ahead of you stone and sort of chiseled rock that has been carved out into a large tunnel that opens up into a cavern. And behind you, you turn and you see a familiar face. Long, brown beard, very bushy eyebrows, deep furrows, but crinkles at the edge of his eyes.
Oh no.
You see your father standing next to you, having just clunked his way out of the family forge. And he puts his hand on your shoulder and says, "Well, Dar, what do you think? It's beautiful, isn't it?" And he gestures to the massive cityscape that sprawls out before you in this cavern. This is the city of Vorestaff, a dwarven city, slightly to the south. And you remember this. This was the first time you laid eyes on the city. This was the day of your creation.
Oh, goody. Lucian, why could you do this to me on this day? Really?
You know, I wasn't planning on it until you said it was your birthday.
Grrr.
You brought this upon yourself.
I did not. I did nothing of the thing. Okay. Right. Oh, am I in charge of this dream now?
Well, he's asked you a question.
You are asking me to plumb some unpleasant depths, sir.
Oh no.
It's beautiful.
Hey, it is, isn't it? This city was founded by your forefathers and by their forefathers before them. It has withstood the test of time. And one day, maybe even you will steward at its head. And you see, on your father's chest plate, a small silver medallion that has been sort of welded, if you will, onto the breastplate. It has the symbol of two crossed hammers and a sword delving through the middle. And you recognize this symbol as the symbol of the steward of the city of Valeston. The steward being the highest order of the council of this city. And your father pats you on the shoulder and walks forwards into the city and bids you to follow. And as you walk through this city, you see hundreds of different dwarves all throughout, selling wares, buying, making, crafting. You see a couple of younger looking dwarves with closely shaved beards, which isn't normal for most dwarves. But you do see that they are wearing long robes, and one of them carries a heavy staff. All of them, you notice, have this shaven beard and close-cropped hair that's very different to all the other dwarves around that have these great big beards. And every dwarf has them. Every dwarf has these massive beards and these long curls, except for a few. And as you walk past these dwarves, you ask your father who they are, because they look so different. And your father answers, and he says, those are the mages, the dwarves who have that little spark of magic inside them. A little bit of, as you would say. We don't interact with them much. They stay in the northern side of the cavern. But they are, and you see him wince slightly as he says this. An invaluable part of our society down here. To move on. Until you come to a large building. Heavy stone walls, massive iron-banded doors. Lights in every window. This large, cylindrical-shaped building. And your father steps forward and pushes open the doors with one mighty shove. And these are massive doors, very heavy, made of iron and stone. And he pushes into this large chamber where hundreds of voices, raucous, fill the air. This, your father says, this is where all the decisions are made. The Council of Valastov. And he steps into the center of the room as you stand back. And the room quiets. Every voice silenced as the figure of your father steps into the center. Everyone, he says, I would like you all to meet my son, Dar. And he gestures to you and beckons you forward.
Oh, so it's that kind of dream, huh?
What do you do? What did you do?
This isn't how I remember it going. I'm a little confused here, because this does not align with my recollection of this particular event. So I guess I'm just gonna go with it for the moment.
Okay.
And I guess I step forward.
Okay. You step forward into the hall. And your vision fades to black. This wasn't how it went. This wasn't the first time that you laid eyes on the city. This wasn't what your father said. This wasn't right. And you step forward again, and suddenly the world around you clarifies. You are standing in a simple circular chamber. Before you lie 3 people. Stand 3 people. 3 dwarves. One you recognize as your father, still with the silver steward's crest on his breastplate. On his left, your mother, with long auburn hair and a very respectable beard. And on her right, just behind her, you see the slightly withered, graying old face of your great-great-grandmother, who stands behind them and says, "There's something wrong with this one, and I can't put my finger on it." And your father says, "Nonsense! They'll be just as good as all the others." And your mother goes and strokes your cheek as you feel stone and dust crumble from your face. As your eyes open, you see all this, and you see your family before you. And you step, and at first it's difficult, because there's rock and stone around you, and as you step forward, the stone cracks, and everything sort of fades to dust around you. You step off a small platform. You stumble. First step you've ever taken. You look towards your family. The 3 members of your family that are here. And your father looks towards you and says, "Well, I'm sure you'll take after your mother, won't you?" He turns and walks out. And your mother stands and offers you an arm. And you both walk out into the great cavern. This, the true first time, not the conjured imaginations of what you wished had been what he said.
No.
What you do? What did you do?
Why did you have to give me this to roleplay today? Really?
I can't help it that you all wrote your backstories as trauma!
We're
Okay?
D&D players. Of course we wrote our backstories with trauma.
2 of us were
Yes!
warlocks.
I followed my mother.
Okay. You follow your mother out onto a vast terrace in front of this large temple that you have all exited. You recognize this building as being one of the central places of worship, and this is innate knowledge to you, innate knowledge that you were crafted with. One of the central temples where dwarves are created, where the soul is imbued into dwarven form. And you walk out onto this large balcony and you see the city below you, and your mother turns to you and says, "Well, I'm sure he means well with those words. Let's find you a place to stay." And the vision... Ingvar!
Jesus.
As you rest, your mind fills with imagery of forests. It fills with imagery of the road traveled, the world around you moving gently. As you sit in a cart, you realize. You look up, you look around you, you're traveling through a forest in a cart with 4 or 5 other people. You see ahead of you, on the path, a large wooden archway. The words Hopewell read out the name of the town that you are arriving at. You remember a mining town, a place where you were going to... I can't remember. As you pass through the archway, everything around you vanishes into blackness. And the next moment, you're stepping forwards. You're in an office space. Wooden walls, desks, a clerk sitting in front of you who looks up at you and says, "Name!"
Jesus. It is. Wow, someone got me tongue there. The name's Ingvar. Ingvar Svan.
Ingvar Svan. Right. The new mining engineer, wasn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. The clerk draws some papers out and pulls out a large slip, what looks to be a metal piece with a couple of holes punched into it. Hands you it and says, "This, don't lose it. This lets you clock into work, right? You lose it, you don't get paid." And he hands you the metal slip. Now, go over to that device. He points to a wall, which has what looks like a large sort of, I suppose you could say, a toaster with a big backboard. And he says, "Put the slip into the slot, pull the lever, and then take it out. And do that when you clock in and when you clock out as well. If you don't get paid. Got it?"
Got it.
Right. And he shoos you off, and you walk out the door into a rickety-looking town. Buildings that are half-constructed. You see parts of bits and pieces around that are still under construction. You see a bank. You see a small apothecaries. You see a very large, heavily laden caravan that is passing through. And at the end of the town, you see a massive cliff face, quarried stone, filled to the brim with a variety of different bits and pieces. Stones, you can see iron ore being shifted out. You can see a small cart that is being pulled out of a side vein that has small pieces of gold in it. You're about to step forward when a heavy orc man bumps past you. What did you do?
Look up at the orc and in awe, I guess.
He's tall. He's
Tall.
8 feet tall. And he
Jesus.
looks down at you and goes, "Oi! Watch where you're going."
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'm meh.
You watch as he walks on down into the mines. And you see the box on the corner, and you shove the slip in, pull the lever, you hear a chunk, and you see on the board a name appears. Ingvar. Wait. They've missed the R. It says Ingvar. Sit there
Grief.
looking at it for a moment. And then you hear and you see that there's a line forming. So you pull the slip out and you walk into the mine. And it fades to black.
Neat.
Librarian.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You take a little while to fall asleep. Your consciousness flits in and out as you stare at the ceiling of this little rickety swamp cottage. And then you drift into a space unfamiliar, yet somehow you know where this is. You look around you and you see trees, flowers. You see a small house. You walk towards it. But before you can, there's an insistent tug on the back of your neck. And you turn around and there's no forest. You're in the library. It's lovely, isn't it? There's books, there's marble pillars, there's hallways beyond what the eye can see, corridors, red, lush carpets. No, purple lush carpets. No, wait, were they blue? You don't remember. I'm having trouble with it. You watch as from beneath the carpet, from through the carpet, you see grass begin to weave its way through. You look to your left and the marble pillars are the deep, gorgeously brown trunks of verdant trees. You look to your left and there's a patch of flowers. You turn around and there's that cottage again. What did you do?
I walk up to the door at the cottage.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Oh, you know it's bad when a flashback requires a saving throw.
Oh boy. Roll for trauma.
Oh no.
12.
Well, as you're about to reach out and grasp the handle of the door, you find it's not there anymore. The library is around you. Oh look, there's a book that you needed. Get up. You look over and you see in one of the alcoves one of the holograms of the library's creator, rather. Or was it the curator? No, you're the curator, aren't you? You see the hologram adjust its spectacles. What was his name? Vox. Edric Vox. That's right. The creator of the library. You're the curator now. He was... Who was he? You're having trouble remembering. Once again, you see vines wrapping themselves around the marble pillars. You look to your left. There's that door again. What do you do?
I walk a bit more briskly to it this time, and I try and grasp the handle again.
Okay. Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
15.
15. Okay. You grasp the handle. It's a brass handle. The door is wood, painted red. The paint is slightly peeling. You turn the handle and you open the door into a small cottage. There's a large carpet on the floor. The walls are decorated with strange and intricate drawings and tapestries. There's a kitchen on one side. There's a living room on the other. There's the central foyer. Not really a foyer. It's just a door. It's just a little hall. You look around. You hear singing. No, humming. You turn the corner into the kitchen. You're in the library. Oh, what was it you needed? There was a book, wasn't there? Was it a... You don't remember? You step forward. There's a bookshelf. There's a counter. There's a man standing at a sink. In the library? No, you're in a cottage. What do you do?
I walk up to him and I ask him, who are you?
The man turns to you. He has no face. Where there should be a face, there is scribbles, a void. No, not a void. It's as if someone's drawn over his face. You recoil slightly. He extends a hand to you. The hand is cracked, like a statue that's been left out in the sun and the wind too long. There's cracks running up his hand. What do you do?
I start to back away in fear and try to exit through the hallway. I don't know who this person is, and then something clicks about their appearance to me, I think.
Okay. They are wearing long green robes. Elven make, you think. How do you know that? You're not sure. There's a ring. There's a ring on their finger. A simple platinum band. With a small jewel. You remember that ring? Do you? You look at your hand. On your hand there is a golden band. With a small jewel encrusted into it. The hand extends further towards you. The head cocking slightly to the side, as if questioning. The scribbles on its face still remain, but there's something familiar.
Can I roll a wisdom check to remember their name? 5.
I don't remember their name. There's something familiar. They reach out further towards you. What do you do?
I take their hand.
Take their hand. As you do, you feel warmth blossom through your chest. A fog is suddenly lifted. How could you forget? This is Aldrin, your husband. It's been... How long has it been? The scribbles lift from his face. Gentle, sloping nose, high cheekbones, long elven ears. A smile with crooked teeth. A slight gap in the middle. He stares at you, smiling. He says, "Well, love. Is everything all right?"
Yes. Everything's fine. Where's Dulia?
I'm sure she's outside playing. The visions vanish into darkness. Darren.
Heck.
The forge is hot. Hotter than it should be. It's burning. It's burning bright. You see your father in sweat-covered overalls, with a massive hammer, pulling what looks to be this large, glowing blue piece of metal from the flames. You're watching from the corner, from behind a pillar. You see one of your brothers standing next to your father. You watch as they pull this massive piece of metal out with their bare hands and place it down on one of the anvils. You see your other brother pull a hammer out, and your father and your two brothers start hammering into the metal, one after another. Ting, 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 ting! The blade that they're shaping out of this glowing blue metal becomes longer. You know what it is. It's a longsword. You're sure of it. And then you feel an arm on your shoulder, a hand. You turn around and you see your mother, who's standing next to you, and says, "Well, come on then. We don't have all day." She's holding a basket.
Oh.
And in the basket, you see spices, poultices, a variety of different things. And she pulls you away from the forge as you hear the ringing of metal and hammers. She pulls you away down into the valley of the cavern to a little shop on the corner. It's an apothecary. It's where your mother works. You remember this. You were helping her make medicines, poultices. It was boring work. I didn't like it. But your father wouldn't let you work the forge. He said it was for stronger dwarves. You see your grandmother, great-great-grandmother, sitting in a rocking chair by the door to the apothecary. Half asleep. Your mother starts putting the stuff away. What do you do?
I take another look back towards the forge. And then I Turn back around and start.
Start helping put your mother's pots and jars away on the shelves. Your mother gets distracted with some paperwork. You look to the door. Your grandmother is sleeping, as far as you can tell. There's not much going on in the shop. Probably won't be missed. What do you want to do?
Roll for stealth to get out of the room and go back towards the forge.
Okay. Roll me a stealth check.
Oh boy. Hang on, this is the past. Are my stats even accurate now?
Yes. Your stats
good.
are accurate. Don't worry.
$18 total.
18 total. Alright. You look at your mother, who's sitting in the back room at a desk, writing into some form of letter. You look to your grandmother, quietly snoozing by the door. You open the door quietly. Shut it with barely a click. Walk out into the streets of Valastor. Forge is a few blocks down. You can still hear the ringing. Ting, 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 ting. You head off towards it. As you reach the forge, and you turn around the corner and you take a look again, you see the mighty blade that your father and brothers are crafting. It's easily 8 feet long. The handle is this massive oak piece. You see the pommel, a massive wrought iron ball. The blade itself glows faintly, and you can see your father starting, now that the blade has cooled, to hammer in runes into the blade. This long, thick, heavy sword. Doesn't look made for a dwarf. Doesn't look made for a human either. You've seen humans, and scrawny. Maybe a giant? That sounds cool. Ingvar!
Yo.
First day on the job. The mine is in need of some repairs. You're assigned a team. A team of interesting individuals. There's a dwarf. There's an orc. The same orc that bumped into you earlier, as a matter of fact. There's a halfling who knows how to wield a hammer. And there's a human. Blacksmith of some sort. Your team is assigned to you. You are their head. In the mine, there are many structural faults. Many structural faults. You're pretty sure that you can get them fixed. As you head into the mine, there is noise of pickaxes clanking into wood, clanking into stone. You hear the occasional shout as someone finds something interesting. Your team head deeper into the mine, fixing up the supports, shoring up all the bits and pieces to keep those tunnels stable. By the end of the first day, you are exhausted. Is your team's doing well? That orc fella, well, he's a piece of work, but he knows how to get the job done. At the end of the day, your team claps you on the back and they all head home. And you head home as well, to your small lodgings. And you sit down, and you write a letter. You write a letter that calls for someone to come, to join you. You've found work. You've found a place to live. Who is the letter to?
Probably to Cecilia. They weren't married at that point, but they were definitely courting.
You seal the letter. You send it off to Cecilia with a loving kiss. A short few months later, Cecilia arrives and you've secured enough money to buy your own little place up on the hill. It's just slightly out of town, but there's a few settlements around there. It's quiet. It's nice. A few months after that, you're married. The ceremony is beautiful. That orc friend, his name, Garvok. He's your best man. You've become fast friends in those first few months. Your mining team around you, you and Cecilia celebrate. A few months after that, well, maybe a year or two, your first child is born. You've become head mining engineer in the mines. The gold veins are expanding. The iron is drying up a bit, but you found copper deeper into the mines. You're called into a meeting. As the head mining engineer, you know the best about the structural systems of the mine. In the meeting, 3 men. One tall human, slick back hair, heavy waistcoat, grey pinstripes, a golden pocket watch that he tucks into his pocket as you step into the room. On his left, the head clerk, the man you'd met the first day you arrived. And on his right, a dwarf, heavy, stout. Long beard, breastplate, steel breastplate. As you stand there, they make their introductions. The first man, the tall one, the human. His name is Gabriel Blackwood. He's a lawyer from up in Fahrenholm. He's here to oversee the mining works. The clerk explains that there's some extra things that they want to look for in the mines. The dwarf says he's a prospector. He asks about the structural stability of the mines. What do you say?
I explain to him the structure of the mines and how everything seems stable at that moment.
Okay. The dwarf nods. He says, I'd like to take a team to look for myself. You don't.
Not at all, sir.
Good. A few months after that, the gold vein starts drying up. A lot of the money in the town comes from the gold vein. The copper vein is rich as ever. The iron drying up a bit as well. But you think there might be a new vein somewhere close by. It's just a feeling. You think you can find it. A few days later, a few days after that, you find one of the structural supports cracked. You call your team in and they repair it. As the weeks go by, you start finding more cracks in various structural supports across the mine. Some of them very dangerous. At one point, a couple of months after this meeting, you find a massive crack splintering its way up one of the supports. Several of the other ones around the area. Very dangerous. You immediately call for an evacuation, according to mine protocol. You call your team. trusted team at this point. You've known them for years. And you head down into the mine to start fixing things. Roll me a perception check.
What? Oh, there's the menu. Help I had the thing up.
It takes you the better part of a day or so. 2 days. Eventually, most of the supports are fixed. Mine is shored up. There's no worry of a collapse. As you're working on a last support, you notice something strange. A flickering. It doesn't... You think it's lantern light, but you take a closer look and it's not. It's as if the wall is flickering. You put your hand up to it, and your hand goes right through. What do you do?
Blink rapidly at that one, and then maybe try and advance through the wall. If my hand's gone through it, maybe the rest of me will go through it as well.
Okay. You advance through the wall. You enter a massive chamber filled with machinery. All metal rails, massive cranes. You see a belt running round one side of the chamber. You see large crates on the other. A large archway leads out one side. And you see controls and gears and everything. On the other side, a heavy stack of crates. Some of them open. None of the machinery is running right. It's all quiet. But you would think when it is running, it would make a hell of a lot of noise. Maybe something the mine was covering it. What do you do?
Well, if some of the boxes are open, he's going to wander over to have a look to see what's inside said boxes.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
Oh god, that dice is right in my face. Plus 3, so that's 12.
Okay, well. You move over to the boxes. At first it's strange. It's potatoes. Why would there be potatoes in a mine? Dig deeper. And your hand touches something warm. And you instinctively pull back. Nothing happens. So you put your hand in and pull out a large metal ball, polished, with a faint, swirling red energy in the center.
Oh no.
Suddenly you hear shouts. Ingvar! Ingvar! Where have you gone? What do you do?
Can I stealth my way out of the cave so they don't notice I walk through a wall?
Sure, roll me a stealth check.
I'm gonna grab the... That's a +5, Jesus Christ. Yeet! That's a 19.
Okay. Hearing the shouts, you quickly pocket the orb. Walk back through the wall. The orb is about this big. Kind of. Big enough that you could easily fit it into the pocket of a backpack, but not big enough to fit in your transport. You put it in your backpack. You quietly stealth back through the wall. You see, just as you do, your orc friend, Garvok, standing with his back to you. What do you do?
call out to him and just say, sorry for disappearing on you for a moment there. I was just seeing if there was any other damaged structures.
All right. Well, I think we've got pretty much everything done here, he says. Suddenly, you hear a clunk. And then a shh sound. You look down. You notice that you accidentally caught your backpack on a stray nail or a piece of rock, something. Because the orb has rolled out of your pocket, your backpack pocket, and is sitting on the ground. It's slowly starting to spin, letting off a light red gas. What do you do?
Attempt to pick it up, I guess. Otherwise, I'll be staring at it.
Roll me a dexterity check.
Me, a dexterity check. Oh dear.
I mean, did you have all your original limbs at this point?
Yep. That's 23.
23. You reach down, and the orb is spinning really fast, but you reach down and quickly grab it and pick it up, and it stops spinning, and you hold it up. And as you hold it up, the gas suddenly sprays into your face. Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, that's a D12, not a D20. Whoop. Oh, Christ. 2.
You immediately start coughing and retching. Garvok puts his hand on your shoulder and says, Captain, are you alright? What's going on? He sees the orb and says, what the fuck is that? As you drop it. It rolls away a little bit. Comes to a stop just before the illusory door. It's about 10 feet away from you. Garvok grabs you by the scruff and starts carrying you out as you're coughing and retching. All of a sudden there's a ding. As the orb explodes, shattering the support structure of the mine. You watch as rock and rubble and dust starts coming down from the ceiling. You see Garvok looking about and then suddenly starts to run. But the mine is closing in too fast. It's collapsing. You see the other members of your troop starting to run for the exit. You're about 30, 25, and then blackness. Librarian. You're standing. No. You're sitting. Sitting on a bench, outside the little cottage. You're sharing a cup of tea, with your husband. You're both sitting calmly enjoying the twilight skies. Why is it twilight? It's always twilight. It's always been twilight. It's the Feywild. That's why it's twilight. You look around. You see in front of you a large meadow. And in it, in a little red dress, playing, a young girl. She looks maybe 8, 9 years old, in a long flowing red dress, with a little brown belt around her waist. Long golden curls. And she turns to you and you see her eyes are white. Completely pupilless. and she waves to you. And you wave back. You see, she has her father's features. Your features. Long elven ears. Slightly pale blue skin. Golden hair. As she waves, she runs towards you. And then she stumbles and falls. And you get up, thinking, oh no. And then you hear laughing and giggling. And you see her stand up again and run further towards you. And you're like, oh, it's up. And as she approaches the gate to your little cottage, she runs towards you and says, Daddy! What do you do?
I
Roll
run
for
towards her and scoop her up in my arms.
Okay. You scoop her up in your arms and you spin her around. Suddenly everything fades to black. No, not black. You're in the library. What were you doing? Oh, you're holding a pile of books. They need to be sorted, right? And you move off towards one of the walls. You move down one of the corridors. Suddenly you're stepping through a forest. There's a sense of urgency. You're not sure. You're holding your daughter. Stepping through the forest. No, running through the forest. Where are you going? Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Okie dokie. 14.
15. You're running. You're running. Why are you running? You're in the library. The lanterns are dim. Ah, it's the nighttime. That's fine. You pick up the books that you were carrying again. You've accidentally dropped them. Oh no. Oh, that won't do. You walk forward. Then you hear a whisper. Psst. Psst. What do you do?
Who's there?
Over here. You turn. One of the holograms. One of the holograms of Edric Box. The creator. The master of the library. You walk towards it. The creator looks at you. This hologram seems more intelligent than the others. Says, "You've got to get out."
What do you mean?
The library. Get out of the library.
But I'm the caretaker. I'm the librarian.
The hologram flickers, glitches slightly. And then it's the impassive face of Edric Box, standing there. Can I help you?
No.
Very well.
No, everything's
Continue
okay.
your duties. What do you do?
I would like to roll a wisdom check and use divergent personality.
Okay. Roll me a wisdom check.
Okay, and I should get advantage with that. 13.
13. Okay. You attempt to pull on a memory, something that you used to be. Why are you trying to do that? You're in the library. You are in the library. Why would you need to leave the library? Darren.
Heck. There's no point of this I'm going to enjoy.
It's nighttime in Valestar. The lights of the cavern are dimmed, though the sound of the city is still loud. And you are sneaking out. Roll me a stealth check.
Oh boy. That one.
You tiptoe out of your bedroom, pull open the door. You avoid the squeaky floorboard in the hallway. You walk through into the stone passageways at the back of the house. You're not wearing shoes, you're holding them in your hand. Make sure you're not making any noise. But you're so focused on not making any noise that you don't notice your great-great-grandmother as she walks around the corner and you bump straight into her. You feel your face immediately in the heavy, bristly, grey beard of your great-great-grandmother. She looks down at you and goes, "Down! What are you doing out this late at night? Come, let's get you back to bed." What do you do?
I guess I let her turn me back around towards bed.
Okay. You follow your great-great-grandmother back to your room. And as she goes, she says, "I know when I was your age, I used to sneak out all the time, but it's not becoming. It really isn't. I mean, what if one of these days you just up and vanished because some stranger kidnapped you into nowhere? We couldn't have that. Your mother and your father would fret for weeks." Anyway, and she opens the door to you. "Good night, young one." And you step in and she closes the door and walks off down. About 20 minutes pass. Pretty sure that everyone's gone to bed. Roll me a stealth check.
Dice don't fail me now. 11.
11. Okay. Once again, you tiptoe down the hallway, through the back passages of the house, stone walls. You get down into the forge area. You see, lining the walls, glittering, all sorts of swords, knives, hammers, all the forging tools, all the crafted, incredible things. And on one table, you see a small dagger, slightly rusty, a little bit badly made, but you want it. Your memory flashes back to earlier on in the day. Hold on. This is not part of the RP, by the way.
Okay.
The alarm is going off and I can smell smoke.
Oh,
Ah, I thought that sounded like a fire alarm.
I'm definitely not involved.
I
This
hope
is
not.
This is definitely not me trying desperately to get out of this situation.
God damn it, Light.
Set the fucking flat block on fire? That's some dedication.
I am extremely uncomfortable.
You gave me trauma. What do you expect me to do with
God
it?
damn it.
Commit
Okay.
arson, get out of trauma. Profit? Question mark?
Okay. Apparently, one of the flats below us set their fire alarm off, and I can smell smoke. But everything seems to be fine now.
Be the toaster.
Oh god, Moira set the place on fire.
I actually think it might have been. The smoke smell is that close. I think Moira might have accidentally set something on fire.
Happy Pride.
Oh, God. Where was I? Oh, yes.
Everything was
sitting-
fine forevermore.
You're standing in the forge room. The dagger. It's special to you. You made it. That was the first dagger you ever made. Your father had said, well, if you want to give it a go, he'd helped you make your first dagger. When it was finished, your father said, well, it's not bad. I don't think you have the skills to be a real smith, but if you want to make something for yourself every now and again, I'm sure. Well, when no one's around, anyway. You pick it up. It's light. That's right. It's made with mithril. Alright. You pocket it. And then you open the door of the house. Put on your boots. The heavy, steel-toed boots of a dwarf. And disappear into the city. Where are you going?
I'm going to the forge.
Okay. You head down into the market square, across, and down further still, deeper into the city, until you arrive at a small blacksmith shop. The windows shuttered, but the lights still on. You knock 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. And then 2 more. Doom, doom. The door. Password.
Rumpelstiltskin?
Alright, Dar. The door opens wide. You see the interior of this blacksmith shop. Small. Very small. But a little forge at one side. Anvil, hammering tools. It's not much, but it's enough for now. You put on the heavy leather apron, pull the hammers from the walls, nod to your friend, and begin working. What do you craft?
I'm going to try for a shield this day.
Shield. Roll me. Let's see. Roll me an intelligence check and an athletics check.
Okay. Intelligence and then athletics. Here we go. 10 and 13.
And 13. Okay. You've seen designs for shields before. Most of them are wooden. So you grab some wood from the pile, some heavy boards, and then you start hammering in the frame, making the wood smooth around the edge. What type of shield are you going?
Roundel shield.
Round shield. You hammer the beams into place, the planks into place, and then you start work. You start the smithing. The large rim, the small metal plate in the middle, the leather straps on the back. It takes you most of the evening, well into the night. Be tired in the morning and sore. But eventually, you've made what looks to be a passable wooden shield. Your friend claps you on the back and says, "Well, I'm impressed. For a beginner. But I know we can do better. Now, you get on back home. If your pa starts to worry about where you've been." And the scene fades to black. Ingvar.
Yo.
Pain racks your body. A lot of pain. You're sore all over. You hear distant shouts, screams. You feel a sudden shift, and everything is agony. You look, you try and open your eyes. Barely can. There's rubble and dust everywhere. But a faint shaft of light suddenly pierces through the darkness. A large boulder is lifted off you. And someone shouts, "I found them!" You're dragged out of the rubble, into the light. Your body is sore and utterly, utterly damaged. And you black out. A few days later, you awake. You're still sore. Something's not right. Why? And then, pain racks your body again. You feel bruises on your ribs. You think something might have broken. Your left arm is in a cast. Your right leg is in a cast. Wait. Hold on. No. It's fine. It's fine. And then pain once again. Someone wakes up beside you. Celia. She looks down at you and goes, "Oh. Well, darling. I'm sure we've been in worse scrapes, but that's pretty bad." What do you say?
What happened exactly? I can't quite remember. I picked up that orb and then nothing.
Brain collapse. Oh, you were in a pretty bad way when they got you out, you and your team, but they're all recovering, which is good. It's good. Hey, at least it wasn't the old mine. Yeah. I think it did a good job, but God, don't go scaring me like that again. She looks at you, and you feel her hand on your cheek. A few days later, you're let out of the hospital. The rest of your team is with you. They all look beaten, battered. Garvok taken a pretty decent dent to the head. But he looks better than most of you, considering his massive orc stature. You meet up with them in the tavern for a drink. What do you say?
I'm glad that we're all alive, that it could have gone so much worse.
It's gonna take a little while to rebuild the mine, but at least we're alive. And at least we didn't have the whole damn mining engineers, but at least we didn't have everyone down there. It's a good thing you called the evacuation. And the halfling pipes up and says, "Hey, well, a toast, hey, Ingvar, a toast to us for surviving."
The toast.
Okay. A few days later, word reaches you. Elbro, the human, quiet man. He was found dead, lying on the ground next to his bed, apparently choked. Choked on what? Nobody knows. Might have been a lollip. Nobody really knew him that well. He was part of your team, but he didn't say much. Day after that, Ogren, the dwarf, was found with his neck snapped. Apparently he fell down a flight of stairs. A halfling, Blor. A few days later, was found at the bottom of a well. Garvok and you convene at a bar table. What do you say?
I say this can't be just coincidence. There's somebody targeting our group.
I bet you it's because of that orb you found down in the mines. I remember that. Everything afterwards a blur. That
I don't even know what the hell that orb was. I just found the thing. I don't know where it's come from or what it does, except explode, apparently.
well, you keep an eye. And I'll keep an eye out as well.
Yeah.
I'm leaving town soon. I don't want to stay here any longer.
That might be for the best, yeah. I might get Cecilia and the kids out of here.
A few days later, Garbok leaves. Walks out of the town. Nobody's seen him since. A day after that, you smell smoke. Fire. You wake. There's fire throughout the chambers. You see Cecilia coughing. You hear crying. What do you do?
I try to yell to Cecilia to get the Rosa, get her out of here while I go look for Oliver. Get the kids out.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw. The smoke fills your lungs. Coughing, coughing. You stumble through the house towards your son's bedroom. You pull him up into your arms. You're still coughing, retching. There's smoke everywhere. Your son is crying. You push forwards. You feel the flames licking at your heels. You stumble down the stairs. You roll. Boom. Tumble to the floor in a heap. you hear as the smoke starts to fill your lungs. And then nothing. A few months later, you awake. Flitting in and out of consciousness. The white walls of the hospital. You look up. There's no one by your bedside. As much as you hate it, you know exactly what's happening. Librarian.
Oh boy.
Look, I'm sorry, but you all literally gave me a mass amount of ammunition for trauma.
And instead of fireworks, you chose to shoot us.
Yeah.
In the
fur-
field! In the fields.
Oh boy. Okay. So, you're in the library. Just the library. It's all you've ever known. It's all you've ever needed, really. As far as you're aware, anyway. As you're walking through the corridors, holding your index and checking off various organizational things, you see ahead of you a figure. It's an organizer. It's carrying a stack of books. See its little feet pattering away. Pattering. Running. And you see red. A red dress. Running towards you. You're in a clearing. Vines curling up. You see your daughter running towards you, laughing, smiling as her father chases her along behind her. This isn't right. You're back in the library. No, you're in a clearing. No, you're in the library. In a clearing. Why? Why? Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Woohoo. 15.
15. You suddenly wrench your mind free. Cold, grasping fingers that try and pull you back. You wrench it free and you're running. You're holding your daughter and running through the forest. Something is chasing you. Further and further in. You look down at your daughter. There is a red scar across her shoulder. You run further and further and further, and then poof! You're not in the forest anymore. You're in a city. A massive city. Marble columns, giant golden reliefs, purple and gold and red, every color imaginable, spread out throughout these streets. The paved marble stones stretching before you. You look behind you, and there's a great arch of blue light. You look around. You're kneeling on the floor, your daughter cradled in your arms, tears running down your cheeks. You look up. The first thing you see, a statue. A statue of a mage. A mage you will later come to know as Edric Fox. Darren.
Yep.
Been a couple of years, sneaking in and out, going to and fro, helping your mother in the shop, and then at night, blacksmithing with old Erkbun down in the lower levels of Volstown. You've grown some muscles, grown stronger. And your mother keeps saying, well, why don't you grow your hair out? I'm sure it'll look good. I will find a young man for you soon. You don't want that. Never wanted that. It's not. And then your father. Oh, they're not like the others. Grandmother was right. It's more like aunt. Or, well, great uncle. You hear this grumbling at the dinner table, and then one night, you decide, no, that's enough. You pack your things. The first dagger you made, the shield, a few small knickknacks. Roll me a stealth check.
Oh, please, let Amara be with me this time around. Ugh, that's a 9.
From countless years of practice, with only a few times getting caught, you pull off your boots, tiptoe through the halls, avoiding the squeaky planks, into the stone corridors, out into the balcony. And just as you're about to walk away, you hear a as your great-great-grandmother lights a pipe right to you. And it says, well, Dar, I wish I could say I didn't see this coming, but, well, I'm old enough to know otherwise. What'd you say?
I know you've looked the other way so many nights before. Please just give me this one.
You'll break your mother's heart if you leave now. But I know that this isn't what you want. And I know I've filled your head with so many tales. And I know that your father ain't exactly easy to get along with. Here, she says, and hands you a small piece of parchment and a book. It says, if you won't stay, at least take these. Remember us when you're out on the road. Come back someday when you've found who you really are, she says.
I promise I'll be back.
Okay. You shoulder your bag, put on your boots. You head outwards. You head through the city, through the market. You think for a moment about going down to the undermarket where your friend's stall is. And you decide against it. It wouldn't do to say goodbye now anyway. So you head through the city, out into pale sunlight. It's early autumn, and you've got a long trek ahead. Right. Shorter session than usual, everybody. I hope everyone found that interesting, if not enjoyable.
You son of a dick. You know exactly what you're doing.
Oh, yes, I do. I mean, you guys gave me so much to work with, or so much to not work with and just create from at this point.
Happy birthday, Lon.
Yeah.
For birthday.
You got the most emotional abuse. As a treat.
Oh, God. Trauma, everyone. Trauma. Shorter session today, because we don't have Horace. But we will be doing a session next week. Because we have a lot to cover, and there's a lot to go through, and everybody, even Horace, gets trauma. But Horace is getting a lot more of it soon.
No.
So, that'll be
Oh,
interesting.
Yay! The donkey. They need character development to get more abilities.
Clearly.
Oh,
Also, we
God.
need to give them a battle axe at one point. Just strap it to them.
Okay. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, shorter stream today, shorter session. However, we will be back next week for session 24, where we will pick up where last session left off, technically, but with a bit more knowledge and foresight around the characters that you all know and love. As for now, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all very much for joining us. I hope you all had fun, and we shall see you all tomorrow with me and Lying and Farrell for some Space Engineers. As for now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for joining us this evening. Have a very good evening, everyone. A very, very good night. We are going to go raid a Fiona. Or a Fionn, rather. Have a very good evening. And a very good night.
Bye.